you're in. That is the name of the game for this Sunday, NFL Week 17. There are still 11 teams vying for playoff spots this Sunday, with 2 divisions up for grab as well, the AFC South and the NFC East. Now, before we get into it, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, and as always, subscribe for more content like this on Bench Talk Sports. I'm Anthony. Let's get into it. All right, so to start, we have 5 teams in the AFC that are all still looking to clinch a wild card spot and clinch a division for 2 teams. We have the Dolphins, the Browns, the Ravens, the Colts, and the Titans, who are all 10-5 going into Week 17. And for all of these teams, all they have to do to make the playoffs and secure a playoff spot is win. All they have to do is win. That is, however, except for the Indianapolis Colts, who need to win. They also need one other team that I just mentioned to lose. So if the Colts win and the Browns lose, then the Colts will take the Browns spot. If the Colts win and the Dolphins lose, same thing. However, if the Colts win and the Titans lose, not only do the Colts make the playoffs, but they're also going to take the AFC South as the 4 seed and knock the Titans completely out of the playoffs. That'll be pretty wild. If we jump over to the NFC East, there are 2 divisional matchups this week, one between the Giants and the Cowboys, and the other Sunday Night Football between the Washington Football Team and the Philadelphia Eagles. For the Giants and the Cowboys to make the playoffs, they would need to win, and then they need the Eagles to play spoiler for Washington and beat them later in the night. For Washington, all Washington needs to do is win. Doesn't matter if the Giants or the Cowboys win. If Washington wins, they're in the playoffs regardless. However, the Giants and the Cowboys need to win and also have Washington lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. And then finally, there's still 2 wildcard spots open in the NFC. You got the 6 and the 7 seed, with the Bucs clinching the 5 seed last week. So with the 6 and the 7 seed, you still have the Rams, the Cardinals, and the Bears looking to take those final 2 spots. The Rams and the Cardinals are actually squaring off against one another this Sunday, as for the Bears are taking on the Green Bay Packers, who are looking to secure a number 1 seed of their own. So if the Bears win, they're automatically in the playoffs. If the Cardinals or the Rams win, they're automatically in. However, if the Bears lose, then both the Cardinals and the Rams will be in the playoffs, with the winner being the higher seed out of the 2. So basically, if the Bears win, they're in. If the Bears lose, they're out. If the Cardinals lose and the Bears lose, the Cardinals are still in. Same for the Rams. It basically all depends on if the Bears can beat the Packers this Sunday. Let me give you my predictions for this Sunday. So for the Dolphins versus the Bills, I think I'm gonna take the Bills, even if they bench their starters. Because they have the 3 seed regardless of if they lose and Pittsburgh takes the 2. Then I think the Bills are still gonna get the job done at home at Orchard Park. I like the Bills. Josh Allen's been lights out. Stephon Diggs, that connection's been really good lately. Starting to get their run game going. Their defense is pretty sound. I'm going to take the Bills over the Dolphins. Then moving on to the Browns and the Steelers. It is in Cleveland, and the Steelers are starting Mason Rudolph. That's let's hope Myles Garrett doesn't take his helmet off this time. But I think I like the Cleveland Browns this Sunday. Because they're getting all the receivers back from the COVID and everything. That's why they lost the Jets. They didn't have any weapons for Baker Mayfield to throw to. I mean, the run game should be sound as always. I like the Browns this Sunday. I think Baker Mayfield will have a rebound game, and Pittsburgh's been having a lot of trouble moving the ball lately. They can't run the ball. The receivers are still dropping the ball. They're depleted on defense. They've lost too many linebackers. I like the Browns this Sunday over the Steelers, so I think the Browns are going to get the win. Then moving on to the Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, come on. If the Ravens don't win, I think we have some serious questions to ask about not only John Harbaugh and the coaching staff, but also about Lamar Jackson, because Lamar Jackson just seems to not be able to win the big game. And, this is like 2 seasons in a row now where this question is being asked. So I like the Ravens this Sunday. They should be able to win pretty handedly, but if they don't win, there's going to be some questions that need to be asked in Baltimore. Then moving on to the Colts and the Jaguars. Again, the Jaguars just locked up the number one pick in the draft. I would like to see the Jaguars start Gardner Minshew. But I think they're just going to keep Mike Glennon in because, there's no reason for them to win. They could tank. They got Trevor Lawrence locked up next year. And this is a big game for the Colts. I don't really trust Phillip Rivers in big games, but, I think they're going to get the job done. I think they have an elite defense with DeForest Buckner, Justin Houston. I think they'll be all right. I think the Colts should get the win pretty easily. Moving on to the Titans and the Texans. The Texans, they look lost. I feel bad for J.J. Watt. I feel bad for Deshaun Watson because, they're just wasting their talent out there. They do have the interim coach. Whoever takes that job next year should be able to turn that team around somewhat. But I think I like the Titans this week. I think Derrick Henry should have a pretty good game. A.J. Brown should step up. I like Ryan Tannehill. I think Ryan Tannehill is still underrated, even though he's been balling out for 2 straight seasons. So I like the Titans. I think the Titans will get the job done. So with all my predictions, that means that the Miami Dolphins would be knocked out of the playoffs. The Titans would take the AFC South, but the Colts still make the playoffs. Now for the NFC, I think the Cowboys are going to knock off the Giants. The Cowboys have looked good the past couple of weeks. I think Andy Dalton's finally starting to get into a rhythm. They probably have the best receiving core in football. Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott. They split carries or whatever. They have a solid running game. They have a good offense. The defense isn't great, but I think their offense should be able to get them over the hump against the Giants. But the Giants do have a pretty solid defense. The Giants aren't just going to lay down. The Giants aren't pushovers. It should be a close game. I think it'll be a good game, but I think the Cowboys are going to take it. As for the Sunday night game later that night, I think that if Alex Smith plays for Washington, then I think that Washington is going to beat the Eagles. However, if Alex Smith doesn't play and they start someone else, I do think that Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are going to be able to win, play spoiler for the Washington football team, which would mean that the Cowboys would win the NFC East and lock up a 4 seed at 7-9. Up next, then we have the Bears taking on the Packers. The Packers are looking up to lock up the number 1 seed in the NFC, get a first-round bye and home field advantage. Aaron Rodgers probably going to win MVP this year. I don't really see anybody else who could. It was close to Mahomes for a while, but I think that Mahomes kind of dropped the ball in the past few weeks. I think that Aaron Rodgers just been playing lights out. I think the Packers should be able to win, but I do think that the Bears are going to give him a little bit of trouble. I like the way Mitchell Trubisky's been playing lately. I do think that he's going to return next season as quarterback of the Bears. However, I do like the Packers winning. So what that means is that the game between the Rams and the Cardinals doesn't really matter in essence, because the Bears will lose and they'd automatically be knocked out of the playoffs. So both of these teams make the playoffs because Cardinals have the tiebreaker over the Bears. However, this game does matter for seeding, and if the Bears do somehow win, then this game will matter even more. I'm going to take the Cardinals over the Rams, mainly because, the Cardinals are home. I think I trust Kyler Murray more than Jared Goff, even though that the Rams do have a top defense in the league. They have Defensive Player of the Year on their team, Aaron Donald. Jalen Ramsey's been shutting down pretty much every receiver he's faced all year. However, I do think that the Cardinals do have more weapons, and I think the Cardinals are going to get the job done. I guess you might be able to consider that an upset. I really don't, but I like the Cardinals. So with that being said, again, if the Bears lose, then it doesn't really matter because Cardinals and Rams still make the playoffs. But if the Bears somehow win and the Cardinals also win, then the Bears would be the 6th seed and the Cardinals would be the 7th seed. So there you have it for NFL Week 17. Those are all the major games for the week that have major playoff implications. I gave you my predictions. For more content like this, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe as always. Thank you. You're watching Bench Talk Sports.